I gotta turn the mic up. Now we should be actually live. Hopefully. You can hear us, both of us? Are we both good? Can you hear yourself? Oh no. Yo, Paul, you're in here. Can we hear Josh? Is Josh coming out? Chat? No. Oh fuck, what did I fuck up? I thought everything was working. Um boop boop boop. Let's go with that. Josh, talk.
Okay, I'm talking.
Well, now I can't
Okay,
hear you. No, that's not what I wanted. Talk again.
talking again.
All right. I can hear Josh. Can the chat hear Josh?
Yep. I'm quiet. Let me turn up my mic.
All right, cool. Everyone's good. What's up, Paul? Thank you. What's up, Ulf? It's Chris, right? Ulf, you're Chris. Hey, Valis, how you doing, man?
Okay, so today's supposed to be talking about practices, right?
Yeah. So Kraken's coming on later, and we're gonna be talking about practices. But you had something you wanted to go over, and since Kraken was gonna be late, I figured you'd come on as a special surprise guest to get this off your chest. So,
Okay,
what's been eating at you?
so I've got a number of things. This is going to be great, man. You're going to crack up. Um,
I'm ready.
I have notes. I prepared notes for this.
Uh oh.
Um, so first off, uh, we all saw Brad's video, right? We saw his live stream,
Dude, that was
and I
two
want to
hours. I
talk
did
about.
not watch it.
You didn't watch it? No, I did. I watched it from beginning to end, and I'm actually going to try to be as fair as I possibly can when I discuss this. Hey, what's up, Brandon? What's up, Paul? What's up, guys?
What's up, Brandon?
How's it going?
I see how you say
Um,
hi to Josh, but not me. I see how it is,
he, he,
Captain.
he sees you every day. He doesn't get to see my smiling thumb-like face. Um, Josh is announcing he's on mushrooms.
Jesus Christ.
um,
Shug.
anyway, so I wanted to go over some stuff that you know I feel like I may have come across like I was trying to be unfair on Facebook and some of the Facebook comments, and I can understand that. I'm mildly autistic, so I can go off the deep end, right? I can do that pretty hardcore. So I wanted to come out and be fair with some of these idiotic rules and stupid actions that have come out. But I'm not actually. Some of them aren't stupid rules or stupid actions, right? So let's go with the stupid rules, right? Uh, no grabbing your own sword, right? No grabbing your own sword. I'm sorry. Is half swording not historical? I mean, the hemorrhoids have been telling us that half sorting is super historical for like what 30 years,
I mean,
right?
yeah, basically. Like that's the one thing they're like. Well, I would do your duels, but you don't have swords, so why should I go duel with you? I was like, I don't know.
Right. And who cares? Who cares if we're using it to bash people? Where I put my sword? There it is.
I
Who
told
cares
you
if
you
we're using
wanted
it to
this
bash
sword.
people like this, right? It doesn't matter. When I saw Brandon doing that in one of your um, um, draft days
Yeah,
in your submission match, I was like, that is brilliant.
yeah,
And
man.
I started doing it because I copy what good fighters do.
I think someone it might have been me, it might have been Brandon. I swear someone has made someone quit doing that. Like just
Yes,
fucking just cross checking them too much, and they were like,
dude,
I can't, and sat down.
it's awesome and it should be allowed in every league. Period.
100%. Yo,
That said, I can understand
uh,
why they don't want people to do it.
Map Axman, I don't know this guy. He's saying the Mord House, when you turn it over and you swing, that should be legal in every league. I think you should be able to hit with the crossguard with that. That's the strike.
Yeah. Oh, it's Micah. It's
What's
Micah.
up, Micah?
Yeah. Okay. So I get it. Axeman. Yeah. That. Okay. I got it. So I can understand why they don't want it though, because it's too powerful and it would cause the matches to not go 5 minutes and end in a 4-on-4.
Okay.
And they obviously like that. I mean, that's obviously a big thing for them.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
okay, so next rule that I don't really like is historical arming point laces. Can you really tell from more than like a foot away that my arming point lace is made out of nylon?
yeah,
I mean, can
obviously.
you really tell?
100%. You can tell from the stands, man. It's
You tell
easy.
from the stands that my black arming
Yeah.
point lace that you can't even see
Mhm.
is definitely made out of
Yeah.
nylon.
Yeah, I can see through your tabard, in fact.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I can't see the titanium that you use for your fucking armor. I can see the
but you
lacing.
can definitely hear it.
I
You can
can see the
definitely hear the
lacing.
titanium.
Yeah, you can though. You can.
As it sounds like two pieces of tin beads together.
Sound aesthetics don't matter. It's only the visual aesthetics that
Visual,
no one can
visual.
see unless they're right next to you. Those are the.
There is only one sense in HMB, and it's visual.
It's the it's,
Just,
they're raptors.
I gotta do 4 fingers because of my glasses. All right. So
Magnets, how do they work, Paul? I don't know.
magnets. Magnets is a great idea. Just good luck pulling off a magnet that's good enough to hold your armor together. Get this off. Um, so is it really that important to have historical arming point laces? Like, I get it, make it look somewhat historical, but if you have to get up there with and look directly at it from like 2 feet away to tell that it's made out of nylon, come on, man, you're getting too deep in the weeds there. Next rule that I don't like is the Marshall exclusivity rule.
What's this?
This is the rule that HMB put out that says if they're certified marshals, marshal or support at another league's event, they can no longer be HMB marshals.
Wait. If they support at another event,
That
not
is what
even
the rule
Marshall.
says.
Not
That
even
is what the
Marshall.
rule says.
Like if I go and like get certified to Marshall for HMB and then I go bring water to my boys, I'm all of a sudden out?
That's my understanding. I could be wrong, but I am usually not wrong about these types of things. And I'm getting the person I'm getting it from should know. So um, the way that the rule reads is support. So I'm actually not thinking that it has to do with giving water, but if they like go out and like work an event or something like that, if you just go out to help guys with armor, I don't think that's going to be a problem. But if you go out and you like do the brackets or something like that, I think they consider that to be support
I mean,
for the event.
Mike is I think Mike is saying you're wrong. Also, Shug is asking if you're trapped in an IKEA storage bin.
Oh, this is just so that so that you can't because I have a light right there. You can't, so it's not like shining off my head and blinding you.
I love that your head is shinier than your armor.
I mean, it's way shinier than your armor. So,
Anything's shinier than my armor.
yes, I'm using a webcam mic. I only have so many USB slots.
Get a USB. How do you not have a USB hub? Your job is like the techiest tech job
Dude,
there is.
dude, I have so many things hooked into this computer you wouldn't even I would have to disconnect something that I don't want to disconnect or hook up my mic.
All right.
Um,
All right.
I've got like 12 USBs dangling out the back. Um, so the Marshall exclusivity rule, like I understand why this rule exists, right? This isn't necessarily a bad rule by itself. Okay, I get it. You don't want your marshals to marshal in other leagues. I can understand that.
Yeah, I can't though. I can't. Explain that to me.
So when you're afraid of competition, you do things like this. So it's understandable. Okay.
Shots fucking
Um,
fired.
well, it's why else would they put the rule in the place if it wasn't for fear of competition? That's the only logical answer is they're afraid of competition, which is fine. I don't want a guy to open a gym right across the street from my gym and start a boo hurt program. I don't want that competition, so I get it. It's business, right? I get it. It's fine. It's not really a big deal. My problem with this rule is the way they enforce it because it's dumb enforcement. Their enforcement is okay, you're a certified marshal with us and you went and worked this other event, you can't marshal with us anymore. Just blow off my own foot. Just that is the dumbest. You know, how do you hurt yourself? You just cut off your nose to spite your face. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Do better. At least make it, only hurt the person that you're trying to hurt instead of making it hurt yourself. Okay?
Yeah, like I really don't get because like I wanted to go and get that certification. I was thinking about it. Kraken and I we were talking about that setting up ref stuff. He wants to start a ref training once COVID's done, once the coof is gone. But and like I was thinking like a lot of what we could do, we could go borrow from what they've already done and like and work together.
Absolutely.
But like now
I
they're
was on
saying
board.
that why would I ever want to go marshal for you guys if like all you're gonna do is be like, no, you can't go anywhere. All right, I just won't marshal for you ever.
It's like the who killed Hannibal meme, right? Boom. Why doesn't anybody want to marshal for me?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to get on to some actions that have happened lately that I thought were kind of off-putting, right? And one of them actually isn't HMB. There's one that's not HMB.
Is it me? Is it a thing I did?
No, you have. I don't think you. I think it's been like 4 years since you did something that really irritated me.
No, it was like 3 years ago. I hit you in the leg 3 times, and you wouldn't let me. And you were mad about it for like 2 years later.
I wasn't mad about it. I was just butthurt.
Oh,
Um,
oh, okay.
so after Bobby D's post on the HMB USA members forum, the post kind of blew up.
I
And
think
it was a post about the Marshall exclusivity.
for those of us who have managed to get rid of Facebook, which I think is probably just me, can you
It is
can you
just me.
can you just like catch me up? I'm
So
not in on the drama anymore.
Bobby D posted about the Marshall exclusivity rule and how he didn't like it, right? And how he was going to write a letter to the HMB USA bod to make it so that we ignore this rule, right? Which I think was a good thing. I think, people say that I get on Bobby D's case. Bobby D actually does a lot of stuff that I like, and when he does stuff that I like, I say it. So I get this big reputation for being a troll, but you all forget when I'm also agreeing with you and on your side. So
Yeah, because they can't tell if you're trolling or not. I run into the same problem, right? Like Mike is like, I never know if you're trolling, Rango, and I'm like, fuck, that's fair.
yeah, that's valid, hashtag valid. So anyway, so that post kind of blew up, right? I was on there dropping memes, and because
And you wonder
what I
why
do.
people think you're trolling.
Well, they were funny. I'm hilarious. I must share my hilarity with the world. Okay. I should have been a stand-up comic. It's my true calling.
You still
I could
can,
have been the
man.
poor man's Bill Burr.
You can still do that.
I
Like,
can still do that.
go be
I,
a,
I
go be. I don't think anyone's opened up the armored combat comedian role. Like, no one goes out on their armor and talks about it. Like, come on, man. That's you.
Hold on,
That's
hold
you.
on. Brad is saying something. It's because the
Brad?
troll is so big. Okay.
No, that's isn't that no, that's Andrew, I think.
A sentient cheese?
I'm pretty sure that's Andrew.
Oh, it's Andrew?
That's Dion, I think.
Okay.
Josh has great stand-up, good ground.
It's Andrew.
See?
Okay, it's Andrew.
What's up?
I love both of those guys, so it's all good to me. Those guys are both great.
They are. They're
Now
very
Andrew
different
only lives
humans, though.
like 20 minutes from me now. I think that's
Nice.
awesome. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. So they locked down that post, and then they made it so that only approved posts can be posted to the HMB USA members.
So
Then
very.
that's how they shot themselves in their other foot.
That's a super useful discussion group you guys got there.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it.
Do you remember? Do you remember back when the ACL was a thing and they kept giving us shit for censoring? For like we, do you remember that? I
that
remember
was my
that.
first. That
Pepperidge
was
Farms
my
remembers
first
that.
thought. That was my first thought. And I'm not trying to dump on HMB. I really like a lot of the stuff HMB is doing. I like how they're organized. I like how they have a lot of enthusiasm. They're putting a lot into the sport. Um, but they're also at the same time they're making some of the same mistakes that the ACL made, that Andre made. Um, uh, and I don't want them to do that because I think HMB could be. I love the ACS. Obviously, I'm friends with all the ACS guys. The ACS is great, and I think that's where domestically we need to go. But I think HMB has such a big international presence that it could also be super awesome in this country, especially for sending people overseas.
I mean,
And
we gotta point out, Bohurt League is shitting on everyone right now. Their production is on point. That is the thing that we should all be shooting for. So right, so like HMB has the best product, they have the best fighters. So like yeah, that those are the people that you would be hoping would be bringing the best stuff in to our country. But I don't know. I always get the feeling that people who think HMB, they think Eurocentric. They don't think domestically, and that
I
so
100% agree. I 100% agree. And Boo League is awesome. I want to fight in Boo League. You know, but then they do these same things, or HMB USA does these same things that was done in the ACL that drove us all insane. And we're like, hey guys, we already learned from this mistake. Want to know how to beat Josh in sumo or free sport? Bring up an ACLism.
he's
Andrew
right
knows me
though.
too well.
He's right though.
I just lose my
You're
mind.
just gonna start Andre. Ha! You hit him.
Fall down, right? But Blue Heart
Um,
League is awesome. In the way that their website is set up and the way that their live streams go and the fact that they track stats and they do research into what is going to be best. I think it's fantastic. And the fact that they have their championship in Monaco, which I really want to go to, is fantastic. So I don't want people to think I'm anti HMB. I'm super, super pro HMB. And this is what's being lost in translation is that because I'm calling you out for one mistake, you think I'm against you. I'm not against you. I'm trying to fix a problem. I just don't always know the best way of going about
well, I mean, like this is one of the problems that I mean, probably you and I both have issues in that when we express criticisms, we are
it.
not.
Jerks.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. And in particular, I still have beef with HMB, and like I'm trying to back off, but like only a little. um, but
HMB has
like
never done anything to hurt me.
yeah, well, okay. um,
So not to hurt
but
me or not to hurt what I'm trying to do in DC.
um,
Right?
yeah, yeah,
A couple people in the HMB community have, but HMB, the leadership of HMB has never done anything against me, and
yeah,
I would never want to try to do anything against them until they do that because I've
yeah.
got brothers.
But like
Um,
the other thing is not just on us, right? Like, um, I have yet to run into a leader in this league, like an upper echelon leader who really takes criticism well, and that includes the ones that I love. Like, Jay is getting a lot better than he used to be, but like Jay and I still like if I bring up we yell, we cannot talk to each other, and he cannot take criticism from me. I think he's getting better from other people, but like that's still an issue. And like
look,
I've seen Brennan have some fucking meltdowns in the list that is not befitting of a fucking leader. And like Brad's our boy, and we both agree that he needed to out the shit he outed. But also, like, there's a reason why he even admits that what he did, he deserved to get fired for because of the way he did it, right? Like, so like,
So I'll get to whether I think he deserved to be fired because
okay.
that's going to be an it depends.
I mean, my point is just that like that we as a sport as leadership need to get a lot better at taking criticism, and that probably means you and I as well as not org leaders, but as personality leaders, right? Like,
Right. Right.
um,
Figures in the community.
yeah, and that's it's just a thing in general. Um, is that this sport? A lot of us we hear someone say some shit in our pride, and we just what would you say? What'd you say?
Absolutely. I caught myself doing that today on the Armored Combat Welfare group. Right. That's so. Did you notice that I just kind of stopped replying after a minute? It was because I was knuckling up. Right?
I
I was
I
ready to get
didn't
into
notice because I realized I brought the wrong laptop here, so I spent like an hour trying to reset up OBS, and then I locked myself out. So we almost didn't have a stream today.
Oh man, that would have been fantastic. Anyways,
No, Andrew, my manager at work actually loves when I fucking call him out. My manager loves it. He like if I fucking
that
point
is
out
the
like
sign of a good manager.
this is the thing that we're doing wrong, like he'll push back, but he'll be like, okay, um, I did adjust the bit rates. I don't. I think I just put 3,000. I didn't. It was real quick. But yeah, like leadership can take criticism, and like I understand how hard it is at times when, especially when you have guys like Josh and I who like will just jump online and be like, "Yo, this is fucking bullshit." But like also, your job is to listen when guys like Josh and I say this is fucking bullshit. Like that's literally your job.
So we actually need to record like a music video of you and me badly singing. This is fucking bullshit. It's terrible. It'll just be like 3 minutes of going. This is fucking bullshit. We sell it for 90 cents. We'll make nothing.
Yeah. And like,
Anyway,
but no,
but
Mike just brought up a point though. Like bitching at the boss in a sports league and stepping on a megalomania dick is something else, right? Like, the
that's what we
boss,
run into.
the boss isn't our
Boss.
boss, right?
Oh,
Those leaders, we for the most part they're people we give money to, and like
we're the customers.
yeah, exactly. Like in HMB, we may not be the customers per se, but we're still the talent, right? Like they aren't. Like it's, I don't know.
If
This
I treated the guys at my gym the way Andre treated us at some of the New World Cups, I wouldn't have any students. My gym would have shut down because I'm not the boss. I'm the trainer. I am there to provide three things. I am there to provide them a learning experience, a good workout, and a fun time. If I provide that, they will keep coming back. I'm not there to aggrandize myself, right?
right.
And that's a fundamental problem I think some, not all, of the leaders in our community have, is they believe leadership is there to aggrandize themselves.
Exactly. I think there's this other thing is that there are definitely leaders in the sport who want to and do take criticism occasionally and do want to put themselves in a service position and do want to like make us all better and make the sport better. Um, but then you run into two issues of one is pride, and that's the one we all face. You and I both face this as well.
That is my failing in life. Is my pride.
It's most of us like and like I think it's particularly bad in fighters and competition because like one of the reasons I think we fight is to get that sense of pride, to get that sense of accomplishment. um so I think we all lean into that a little bit more than we probably should. I wrote a whole thing about the three gods PMP, back when I was a little
Yeah.
bit more of a a hooligan. um
So Paul just said something in the chat that's pretty good. The problem with leaders is, in this day and age, is the fact that it's not about them. It's about the people they lead. And leadership should not be a sought out thing. I couldn't agree with that more. You know, when people are like saying, "Josh, what you have so much to say? Why don't you run?" It's because I don't think I should nominate myself. I think if I'm going to be a good leader, somebody should nominate me,
Right.
right? So I don't like this whole situation of self-nomination.
Yeah.
Like the AMCF just did uh, opened their board to a couple new people, right? And they said we're taking self nominations. I'm like, I'm not going to nominate myself. That just doesn't seem right to me. So what I did was I went on there and I tagged somebody who I thought would be a good leader. You know, I tagged Jeff Suter, who I thought would be great for the position. And then he said, "Why don't you run for it?" I'm like, "I don't want to run for it. I got enough on my plate." But
Yeah.
you know, if it came down to it and enough people wanted me to do that, I would. Hopefully, they don't, because I would be terrible at the job.
I mean, that's another thing. Kraken said to me when I was like, "Should I try for this?" And he was like, "You absolutely should try for this, and then step down because you have way too much on your plate." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, that's a good point." Like the and like, but this is a thing I think for everyone else who's doing the leader, and this is sort of a general point that I want to make is that like Jay is running a gym, and then also running a gym, an event hall, and the league. Brennan is running a gym, an event hall. He's offloaded a lot of the running of his gym, which yeah, but he still runs it as an event, but and then has another job, and then runs the league. Brad was running like 3 leagues, and like all of these people like Gally has a job. Larry has a job. Larry's got a team in addition to all the shit he's running, right? Like everybody's doing all this stuff, and I think part of that is that it makes it none of them give the job their full attention, and therefore none of them are really that good at it. And
So
like
I know you and I disagree. I think you and I disagree on whether Larry's good at his job. I think Larry's very good at his job.
I don't think
I have a lot.
no legit I don't think anyone in this sport is particularly great as a leader. I've seen Larry flip out at people being like no AC, and like I get that like you feel like you're being attacked on that, but also it's a bullshit rule and most of the people hate it. You're stop taking it personally. Stop.
I know.
Um
And
like
so
and
so so so,
uh,
so let's move on, because I'm only halfway through my list.
oh Jesus Christ.
So, the next action was the AMCF. See, not HMB. The AMCF requiring committing to fight overseas in order to go to their event, or in order to fight at their event.
Right.
Can we just say that this was just bad and move on from there, because they did kind of uh, move past that with creating a second event.
Yeah.
So that was a bad idea, but they put a band-aid on it.
But I mean,
So
like,
I give them that
does
credit.
the second event have different rules?
I'm not sure. I haven't really. I don't think they've released it yet. We'll find out. We'll find out.
Yeah,
So the
Paul.
jury's out on that one.
Larry does do a shit ton. So does Jay. So does Brennan.
Yep.
You
So
know
does
what?
Brad.
Yeah, like
So does Kraken. So do I. So do you, Paul.
every
Um,
like but the point is like none of us get to give this our full time attention, and because of that, I don't think any of us are ever going to be that good at it because it's a very unique type of leadership, right? You're dealing with the cross section of jocks and nerds, which are two very distinct cultures with two very distinct protocols, two very distinct ways of interaction, and so like and then you also have to do it where we don't get to know each other that well. Like we're all in separate places with all separate different ideas of what we want out of the sport. Like I was just having this conversation. I posted in the Facebook group and on a Discord about if the Midwest feels put
okay.
out, and that
I'm gonna hide. I'm gonna go hide because I was getting mad earlier.
that blew up into a whole thing. But like, what at the end of it, my takeaway was, oh, the Midwest really does have a different situation than a lot of the other places,
It does,
and
because
it's
they're
not
so
just a
sparsely
travel
populated.
situation. How do we attract what? How do you highlight a message? What is this shit? Anyway, how do we attract
He must have
non-fighter?
spent points.
I
He
don't
must
know.
have spent. I don't know.
Weird shit just happened and it blew my mind. I don't understand this thing that I'm
How about
doing.
we come back to that question later? Because I've still got 3 more on my list.
Yeah. Anyway, my point is just Larry does do a shit ton. When I say he's a bad leader, I don't mean that in the sense of denigrating him. I mean in the same way I say no one is good at fighting in the sport. You can't. I don't think anyone can be good at leading the sport, and I don't think anyone can be good at fighting in the sport, just because none of us can really give it our all. Anyway, that was my point. I know you disagree, but like,
Well, no, I don't I don't necessarily disagree. I think it has some more nuance, but that's a completely different stream. We could talk for that for like 2 hours.
yo,
So
is
now let's
Kraken
get
getting in
to
this shit?
let's get to the next thing on my
Yeah,
list, which is
go.
Brad's video.
Okay.
Right. So Brad's video revealed to a lot of us some of the behind the scenes work in HMB, in HMB USA in Nevada. So Brad is our boy, right? I'm friends with Brad. You're friends with Brad. So I am biased towards Brad over the rest of the HMB bod, with the exception of Kirk, who I also like a lot. Um, although Brad is my boy, so I can't really. I'm going to support my friend. So
Shuts
Brad's
up and
video brought up
English.
3 separate issues that were bugging him. There was a thing that happened in the pole arm brackets where somebody was added late, even though they were only supposed to add people during registrations. A sponsorship snafu, and something that was going on with this HMB show that they were doing. So we'll get to the pole arm thing first. So a gentleman who will remain nameless because I don't know him very well. I've only met him once, and he seemed very nice, and I've heard nothing but good things. So I don't think that this person who shall remain nameless did anything wrong. But his name was added to the pole arm list uh, after registrations were over, right before the tournament. So everybody knew that you needed to register for all your different duels and all your different events before the tournament, like several weeks before the tournament. Um, maybe he did, and it somehow got lost. In any case, uh, what happened should not have happened, and it shouldn't have been added late. Rules aren't for just the plebes, right? The plebes, quote unquote. Rules are for everybody. I've been in this sport for 6 years now. I don't believe I've ever asked for special privileges, and if I ever do, Ringo, smack me
Okay.
because special privileges should be
That is a special privilege though.
for you to smack. I mean, you've hit me before. Anyway, right in my thigh 3 times, and it sucked. I'm still butthurt. Um, so just understand, please. I don't care if you were in the first 29. I don't care. I don't care if you have a UFC championship and you're coming into the sport. I don't care if you played in the NFL for 15 years and won Defensive Player of the Year 6 times. Okay, when you are in this sport, you are just like everybody else. There's no special privileges. You're not getting anything over and above what anybody else is going to get. And when somebody was given a special privilege, and I believe it's been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that a special privilege was given, it isn't on the person who accepted it. It is on the person who gave it. So the person who gave the special privilege is at fault for, what's the word I'm looking for here? Oh, corruption.
Nepotism, I believe, is the
Okay,
technical term.
nepotism as a form of corruption. Okay. And I believe that whenever you do that, it's a bad sign and a sign of not necessarily a bad leader, but somebody who is at least a weak leader that can't say
All right,
no.
we got Kraken coming in.
Okay, so
Things are gonna look weird for a second. Sorry, everybody.
things looking weird.
Do, 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 do,
That's
do.
one handsome man there.
Oh no! All of my stuff is broken. All right.
What
This isn't
happened? Oh
this
no,
this isn't great, guys. This isn't great at
that
all.
broke. Can everybody still hear us?
Um. Yeah. They can probably hear us. I can't hear Kraken.
They can hear us. Yay, they can hear us. That's all that's really important.
Now I can hear you.
Kraken
Yay!
can hear you.
Kraken's back. All right.
You guys don't get to see how handsome Kraken looks. Wow.
All right.
Oh, there we go. So I hope I didn't miss too much exciting stuff of Josh talking while I was gone.
You did. It was actually like the most important part of the stream, even though it's the bitching that we do all the time. So.
Okay, cool.
But we did it publicly this time.
I mean, I feel like we probably did it publicly before. We're not very private with a lot of the shit we say. We probably should be, though.
We probably should be a little bit better about that. How about we make a Discord for it?
Yeah, a just bitching Discord. All right.
Just
Kraken, I've like cut off all of your couch, so don't move in either direction.
Oh, you can do that?
Kind of.
I spent like 10 minutes trying to get my camera in a decent place so it was zoomed in enough.
Yeah, well, it's perfect, I think.
All right, cool.
Oh, wait, whose audio is doubled? Shit.
Oh, is that me?
I don't know. I haven't been looking at the chat because I was trying to make everything look good.
He's saying Sean's audio is doubled. Sean, are you listening? Or do you also have the stream up?
Yes, but I have the volume off.
Okay.
But just Sean's, not Josh's too?
Let me check some more settings.
People couldn't handle listening to me twice.
Not that.
That's so weird.
What about now? Am I making any noise now?
Yeah, you're here.
I can hear you.
I have no idea how it's just Sean's. Like, that shouldn't be possible because it's not echoing. Is it echoing for you?
Well, I played a D&D game a couple weeks ago where I've been using this new microphone and it doubled occasionally.
Okay.
And I don't know why.
I should still hear the double if the chat's hearing.
You have a microphone on your webcam as well?
I do, but it's not set to do anything with that.
All right. Well, you know what? I don't think we're going to solve it because I'm super dumb about AV. And
you're in control of the stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So, sorry, everybody. Kraken, you wanted to talk about practices.
Yes, very vague on that specifically.
We specifically, you wanted to come up with notes, and I said, we don't do that here. And you were like, fine, I'm not going to prepare at all. So I assume you have not prepared at all.
I have occasionally thought of things in the couple weeks since we started talking about doing this. That's it.
Cool. Why don't we start with introducing yourself again and why you should be talking about practices more than anyone else, and then Josh and I will talk about why we should be talking about practices.
That sounds good. I'm Sean Krakenslayer. I am regional commander for the Atlantic in the ACS, regional commander for the Atlantic in the ACL before that, almost entirely just administrative work. The Atlantic doesn't anymore really have one solid team like that, not like the Executioners does. We're going more for having individual teams make their own teams. I believe that I'm a pretty good guy to be telling you about how to do practices, because I think I'm the only one recording them and sending them out to the public.
That's probably true. Josh, why should anyone listen to you about practices?
So why should anybody listen to me about practices? Well, I've been running practices for armored fighting since 2016, I guess now.
Yeah.
In 2018, I started Mid-Atlantic Medieval, and that transitioned into Ironhide Academy 6 months later. We've gone from having literally 0 people in our program to now I have 21 people in my program. We've gone to 1 event as a team. We have 16 people in armor, and we've all done that in a year and a half. I'm a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I have some judo skills. I've won a number of judo competitions in my misspent youth. I was an MMA fighter. I've been fighting in armored fighting since 2016, and fighting is the second largest part of my life after my daughter. So that's
your daughter's pretty small though.
My daughter is very very tiny, but she's big in my heart.
That's the important place.
Yeah, she takes up a huge portion of my heart. That's why my blood pressure is so high all the time. She's like just in there, like beating around. Get me out of this heart!
Well, this got creepy. Um, so
I'm a cringeworthy guy.
And hopefully y'all know me. If you don't, I don't know why you're watching my Twitch. It's kind of weird. I guess you probably followed Kraken here. You shouldn't follow Kraken anywhere. It's a dangerous choice.
Very dangerous.
Anyway, I've been fighting in Steel for 6, 7 years, and before that, SCA for a couple of years. I was an instructor at the Knights Hall for about a year and a half. Um, I've done a variety of seminars up and down the East Coast and a couple um, elsewhere. I've been flown out to a few places. I have written down a bunch of drills. I helped a bunch of people come up with their ideas of practices, and I used to do a lot of online coaching. So yeah, I like to think that I have some idea of what I'm talking about, but I probably don't. So sucks to
None
be
of us.
you.
We're just the blind leading the blind.
Um,
Uh,
so Kraken, why did you start your blog recording those practices? What was your goal with this?
so I've been running practices with the Pine Barrens since the split, and before that, running practices with the Rhinos. And they were very disorganized, and I wasn't sure if anyone was actually getting anywhere with it. People would come in, they'd do a practice or two, and just kind of dip out because I'm assuming it was a little too chaotic and not something they felt was being taken seriously. So I started doing this blog as a kind of a COVID project because couldn't go out anywhere anymore, so I needed to do something. And I was to one, make my practices better for the team, which is great. Two, make it better for new people showing up so that they can come in and go, oh, this is something I can come back to every week. And three, make myself better as a coach for this. I have zero coaching experience before Steel. I just kind of, we needed someone to start running practices, so I just started to kind of do it.
All right. I think that's the case true in a lot of the country. Right, like Josh came in and you clearly had some background in other martial arts, but like I didn't. I learned everything I knew about running practices by watching other people run practices and going, "Huh, that doesn't look great. I wonder if I can do better." um, like Jay gave us a lot of great stuff in my early days, but I think most people are in the same boat that you are, cracking, like you're saying, where it's so is that also one of the goals that you're trying to like sort of create a tool so that people don't have to walk through what you walked through? And if so, what other tools do they have besides, or are you the only tool they get?
So I would really love to have this at a point where someone is starting a new team with no one else within driving distance, and they can look at this and get, oh, I can run these several practices in a row, and it will be something I can just start with. Because again, I've been doing this 5 years now, and like when I started running practices, I was still just kind of like, is this what we're gonna do now? So it's really refined on that, and I think I've kind of gotten it to a point with poorly drawn diagrams that someone who has a very cursory understanding of steel can look at it and go, I could probably run something similar to that. And I think it comes from people who talk about coaching, comes from a unique perspective of we don't have a gym or anything. We don't have a space that is always set up the same way. So like Josh, you have a practice and you have your bobs ready there at all times. You have your gear there at all times. When we started running practices, we had a tire.
One, you had a single tire.
I mean, like, yeah. And then we got a big tractor tire. And then we found a way to hang a 3-tire pedal. And like, it's this slow evolution of stuff that I don't consciously think about as the growth we've had, that a new team might go, oh, how do we get this stuff that they need for practice?
Right. So did you write down? Is that a thing you've written down? Like, hey, here's how to get the equipment to practice. Here's the first thing you need. Here's
That
what you get
was
next.
a thing that I've been thinking about over the past 2 or 3 days, and it's probably going to be my next blog post.
Nice.
Because I just saw in Alex's Discord the other day someone talking about making a Pell with truck suspension parts on the bottom, so it bobs back and forth. And that sounds a little overcomplicated to me.
Did you also see the rope Pell that someone put up?
Yeah, I really want to try one of those.
Me too. I'm super excited to hopefully not blow up my shoulder when I practice sword shots.
So people who don't know what we're talking about on this, a Pell is just a thing you hit. There are a couple of very common designs for a Pell: 3 tires that hang up, a big ass tractor tire, a 4x4 put in the ground and wrapped in carpet and rope and foam and stuff like that. And they all seem to have their own benefits and detriments to them. I haven't tried out this rope Pell, but it is literally just 2 pieces of 2-inch diameter hemp rope duct taped together and hanging from something. It sounds super simple, which is great for we don't have a place that is a specific practice location. You could just throw 10 feet of rope in the back of your car and hang it up anywhere.
Yeah. So it's also huge for me. I have been running into. I'm going to circle back to the idea of a philosophy of training, and if you have one. But I knew. I see you, Josh. Um, but like one of the things that I'm starting to do that was never on my radar before, as I'm getting a little older and my body's starting to break down, is how to prolong it. Because some of the motions that we do, I'm starting to realize might not be natural, right? Like much like a pitcher. For everyone who follows baseball at all, who doesn't follow baseball at all, that motion that the pitcher does, I actually can't throw a ball at all, so I don't know if that's right. But that motion's bad. Your shoulder's not supposed to do that, and pitchers basically destroy their shoulders and then stop pitching. And I'm feeling like a lot of our sword work might be like that, and I don't think it's going to be as bad, because we're not generating as much torque and as in such weird angles. But I do think that all that weight at the end of your extension, particularly if you're doing for weird shots like this, is bad. And then the vibration on the strike also can fuck up all of your joints. So I'm trying to come up with better ways of training that don't destroy me, because my shoulders are fucked, my knees are fucked. So the rope Pell's huge for that. But so yeah, I'm at this new point where I'm looking for a new philosophy of training, and I wondered, and I know Josh has a lot of thoughts on this, so we'll get to him after. If you have any philosophy on training that or are you just kind of picking it off piece by piece? Have you not yet really coalesced to have a whole sort of 10,000-foot view, or like philosophy that you're following, or something like that? Do you have thoughts on that?
So, as far as a whole team philosophy, I really try to push the Ubuntu philosophy of I am because you are. I don't believe that any person on our team is the all-star at all ever. You can't say, oh, I made that great takedown. You have to say, we as a team made that great takedown, because I couldn't have been in that position if you didn't set it up for me. So all of my training revolves around make sure that you are getting the best training you can get, and you are giving the best training to your partner that you can give. As far as like how I'm scheduling drills and stuff for that, I'm still kind of picking that up as I'm going along. I'm still trying out a lot of new things and seeing how they fit in. But we try to do a lot of things with multiple people. I don't believe that striking a Pell repeatedly to get your shots down is a good idea, because that'll teach you how to get, oh, yes, I can do this shot from this distance at this height. When you do it with 2 different people, your target is constantly moving, constantly changing slightly, and all these different things, and it's going to increase the way that you learn how to throw different strikes. So I try to keep everything as variable as possible within limits for that.
Okay.
And I know that Josh has a lot of good stuff to talk about on
Yeah.
this.
So I could go on for a week with philosophy.
We don't have a week.
We don't have a week, so I'll kind of build off of what Kraken was saying with the power work. So a lot of the drills that I teach my guys incorporate movement with strikes. So obviously, I teach them the standing static strikes first, so they can get the motion down of swinging the sword, right? But when they're working on the heavy bags, or when they're working, excuse me, with the tie pad, so we do a lot of tie pad work with the swords, foam swords. There's a lot of movement based stuff. We're actually going to be getting back to that this week. It's why it's in my head. There's going to be, like, instead of you swing the sword and you do your flat snap and do your offsides. You do that while you step to the side and look for a new angle. And also the guy holding the pads is moving, so you have a moving target to hit. And it's a good drill for movement. And also when we're using foam swords on pads, there's not as much rebound, so it's a lot easier on your joints because there's not as much vibration. Longevity is important. Now that said, the philosophy I have is for a practice is I need to make sure everybody learns something. Everybody should either learn something or have something they already knew reinforced in every single practice. Second thing is they need to get a good workout. Our sport is a physically demanding sport. So every single practice should leave these guys sweating at the end. The third thing that I need to make sure that they always do, and I did go over this earlier, but maybe not everybody's here in practice, is the third thing is it's the most important thing because it's the thing that keeps everybody coming back to every practice so that they come back as awesome as possible. And it's making sure they had a good time, making sure that they enjoyed themselves, that they felt included the entire time, that they never felt excluded by anyone. To do that, I use a lot of positive reinforcement, except with Alex because he doesn't respond to positive reinforcement. So some people don't respond to positive reinforcement. Some people don't respond to it. So you have to figure out the individual need of your student. How does this person respond most positively? And Alex responds most positively to negative reinforcement. Hey, jerk, do this better. Whereas, hey, guys, you're doing really good. Let's add one more movement to it, right? He just tells me I'm blowing smoke up his ass and he gets mad. So negative reinforcement and he's happy. So anyway, I kind of went off on a tangent. Thanks, Alex. And my autism off the charts there.
Well, since you have gone off your talent, first off, Invicta Ludus. I don't know who that is, but what's up, man? Thank you or not, man.
That's my boy Nick.
What's up, Nick? Wants to know how you hold your pads and what angle and what kind of pads. I feel like that's probably a good idea for you to maybe do as a video for Ironheart Academy.
We have a video up where we're doing pad work. But I will do a video. That's actually a really good idea. Thank you, Nick. By the way, you seem like a great guy from everything I've heard from Kraken about you.
I need to stop you again. There are demands for Dan Kraken. Do we have a Dan?
I can go grab him. He's sitting outside of the field.
You mean Kraken's not the handsome one?
Kraken is the handsome one, but he's not the handsomest one.
Oh, so Dan is the handsomest one.
It's in his name, Handsome Dan.
Yeah, no, Dan, stay here.
Dan, you're a star.
Dan, they specifically requested you.
Yeah, now we'll stay.
So I'm actually sitting in Dan's spot right now. That's why he's mad at me.
That's a good reason for him to be mad.
He's putting his butt on you. He's rubbing his butthole on you right now.
No, it's just his tail.
Oh, and he's gone.
He's gone.
All right, so yeah, I think that'd be maybe a good video. You have some thoughts on that. I do want to get into the idea. One of the main things uh, that excites me about your blog, Kraken, is that you're breaking down your practices not just in like here's a cool drill you can do, but you're actually giving out a full um, timing of like how long the practice is, what drill follows what. I don't remember if in general you're explaining why a drill follows a specific drill. Um,
I'm not at all on that portion.
I would encourage you to do that. Um,
Okay.
and if it's not a thing you think about, I would definitely encourage you to think about it. That's a
So
huge.
so the reason the way that I do it right now is I usually have one drill that is built off of something we did last week, and one drill that is to include something a bit new.
Nice.
And then a final thing that is for fun, which Josh brought up earlier. And one of the things that I say frequently is this isn't PE. No one's making you come to our practice. If you want to come because it's fun, you're going to come. If you don't have fun, you're not going to. So I like to make sure that I have something to build off of, something new, and something fun.
Yeah. That is really cool. I think you should highlight those maybe in the thing. Like, this is the new thing we're doing, and maybe like your thoughts. Do you talk about how the practice went on your blog
Um,
afterwards?
no, what I was doing before was only posting practices after I've run them, so only posting the ones that ran well.
Okay.
But I've caught up, so I'm at the point where I post them before I run them now.
I think that's a great idea, and I think that I think I remember you guys talking about this on Paul's stream about like learning opportunities and being taking feedback from your. So this is, I think, a great opportunity for you to do that, and not to take the feedback from your fighters and give it to the people out there and be like, hey, I ran this drill. Here's my feedback on it. Here's how it went.
Hmm.
Here's why I'm not going to keep doing that drill, or here's why that drill was so much better than I thought it was. Um, it's definitely, and like that. I don't know if blogs are the right format. It's a thing to play with, but in general, one of the things that I really think that you have an opportunity here for is that not only do you have the opportunity to show people how to structure it, but like you said, this is allowing people to grow. You can be like, hey, here's literally how I grew and how I learned, and show them that process, because that process might be more important even than the structure that you're providing.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. It's something I just haven't thought about at all.
Yeah, me either till just
Yeah.
now, and I read all of them.
I'm gonna be honest. Up until like last week, I had never gotten any sort of critique on them, and I was like, "Is anyone reading these?" And then I posted the one that said, "Hey Kraken, I can't make it to my team's practice," and I had like 5 different people come in and be like, "Oh, blah blah blah." So I guess people are starting to read them.
Yeah. Well, also, I've have you asked for critiques?
For a while, I was posting. Every time I post them, I'd end it with, of course, any comments, critiques, or concerns. Let them know. Let me know here. I'd love to talk about it.
All right.
But that was just in a Facebook post on it, and
Oh yeah,
we all know Facebook is the best place to communicate.
it so is.
100%. It is the best. Nobody ever misunderstands anything that anybody says on Facebook ever.
Um, Yo, Shug, Brandon, thank you.
Ridiculous.
Shug and Josh, you saw the logo is dope, not Brandon. Thank you for the shots on the logo.
It is freaking awesome.
That's from Megan Schloitz. I cannot pronounce your last name, Megan. Schlotti.
Megan S.
Megan
Megan
S
awesome.
runs.
Megan awesome.
She runs the. She's the captain of the Banshees up north. She does great logo stuff. If you have Kraken, you're not in screen. I told you not to move.
I'm sorry, I had to go off screen for a minute.
Um. Anyway, she does great work. shouts out to her. Hit her up if you need logo work or like any sort of graphic design. She's amazing. Um, anyway, back to practice stuff. Yeah, like you talked to me a little bit about it when you started, and then since then, I have not felt that it was really my place to just come in and be like, "Hey, man, this like let me talk to you about your practice." And I'm gonna say shit on because like I don't give positive reinforcement because I'm a bad coach.
Yeah, I understand. I've had you coach me before.
Oh no! I tried to work on it when I came down there. Was I that bad?
Sick burn.
I probably was.
No,
Um,
I've really, legitimately, I like Ringo as a coach. He does a good job importing knowledge.
I do think that I import knowledge very well, but I do not think I encourage well at all. um,
You were very encouraging when you came down for the seminar last year.
are you sure, or was Kat very encouraging, making the two of us encouraging?
I think Cat may have beaten you into it. That slapped
Maybe
you around a few times
he
when you were
has
driving down.
he has been trying that. He's like, you have to stop being negative. Stop. um, anyway, so yeah, I haven't felt the place to give you any sort of feedback on it, and maybe that's just because it was like that was such a form thing on it. But it definitely didn't. I didn't feel like it invited feedback. So if it's a thing you're looking for, I don't know how more to go about it, but I'll try to give you more in the future.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll see if I can make that more obvious that I'm open to feedback on things. Because obviously I don't know everything. I don't think anyone in our sport does.
no.
We're so new that, as Josh said earlier, we're the blind leading the blind. We really are. Even like the top end is still like maybe in 4 years we find out we did all of this wrong.
Yeah. We are literally
And
inventing a
Bowhurt
sport.
International, and everybody lost their mind. Hey guys, in 10 years, the sport could be completely different.
Yeah. Well, that's because
Facebook, nobody misunderstands anything in Facebook
yeah,
ever.
because Facebook is a great communication medium. We just went over this.
This is the
Um,
best. It is way better than Twitter. That's all I have to say.
I wouldn't know. I've never been on Twitter.
Uh,
So,
Twitter is
but
horrible.
yeah, I do want to go back to the idea that since we got off topic of what I was saying, you've created this structure. And have you refined sort of the idea of how you do your structure, or is it still basically workout for X minutes, drill for X minutes, and you keep the same amount of drills? Like, do you play with that basic bl- block framework at all, or is it still the same thing? And yeah, do you have thoughts on
So
that?
the first part of it is always 10 minutes of warm ups and 20 minutes of night fit. That I don't see changing because the feedback I've gotten from my fighters is they like doing night fit at practice for accountability. Not every team's going to want that, so hey, throw that out, throw something else in if you want. But my team has specifically said that's what they like. They like having that there so that you can keep an eye on their physical fitness, and they have to do it at least once a week. Other than that, it comes to drills. Sometimes I do two if I think I'm going to have to spend more time on a certain thing than another thing. Sometimes I play with those times really just based off of intuition. And sometimes I mess up a little on that. Like the last practice we ran, we didn't have enough foam swords and shields for everyone to be doing everything at the same time. So I had to do it in 2 sets. That took twice as long. I had to omit one of my drills. Every time you run a practice, be prepared for your plan to fail and just work with it. Because it's going to happen sometimes.
Um, so, yeah. First off, that's definitely true. Now, you are running practices, and these are very clearly team practices. It's like a once a week thing, right? For 2 hours, I believe.
Scheduled 2 hours. Once in a while, we'll run one that's a little short, like 100 minutes.
Right, and that's
We've just recently changed it to 2 hours plus, where after practice we'll do foam kit sparring stuff, just for whoever is available and wanting to do that.
Right. And so that contrasts a lot with what Josh and I deal with, where we have classes more, right? The Knights Hall is primarily a classroom. Josh, I believe your training is also primarily class-based. And so I don't know. Have you been to any of the like normal classes, or have you only been to seminars that people have put on?
I have only been to seminars.
Okay.
I did one class at the Knights Hall where we did night fit and then sumo drills for the rest of the time.
Okay.
That was a couple of years ago.
I do love sumo drills. Yeah, I was going to ask you to sort of contrast those as a person who's running primarily team practices, but I don't know if you can do that
So
without that
that is
experience.
actually something that is on my mind about this. Again, we've got people who are established coaches, people at the Knights Hall, people at the Warlord Academy. We've got Josh. We've got some people over at the Ludus. But all of these people have classes that they can run several times throughout the week. I think for the majority of the country, you can get together once a week. So that is another thing that is a different angle that I'm coming at this at, that I think is more approachable to newer people trying to get into this.
I want to send out a shout out also to Dan Krug, who's also running classes out in Oregon or Washington State. I can't remember. I think it's
Oregon. It's Oregon. He's in Portland.
And he is running a very similar format to what I do. From what I understand, from what I can see.
Yeah, shouts out Dan. He's also he's got a website and trying to get a forum off the ground. He's making big moves. Their team.
I love Boohurt.
Their team came out. Yeah, I love Boohurt.com. They have merch that's pretty dope. Like that's was such a sweet name grab on his part. I'm like, fuck you, dude. So jealous. Um, as Cerberus came out, they're dope. But so one of the things though about this class versus practice angle, right, is that so the Knights Hall has the Executioners as the main men's team. I think we only have the Banshees for women's team at the moment. We used to try to break it into two. I don't think we're doing that. But we also have 3 chapter teams that train out of the hall, and then like another one that like sometimes we get some of the people. So and I don't know, Josh, you only have one team, right? You have 2 teams as well. So there's this aspect where as we create classes, we're primarily imparting skills versus your goal as a practice is twofold, right? It's to train skills and impart knowledge, but also to build that team. And I wondered like how you sort of play. Do you think about how to like the one versus the other and how they play off? And like if you do, sort of how do you value like which one is more important and such?
So I do think about those at all times. And I think that building the team and community is more important than the individual skills. I think having a group of people who can work together in various situations, whether they're in their spot or not, is more important than having someone who goes, oh, yes, I am a perfect flanker. Because you're going to be in weird situations. And your team, at least at our level, where we don't have 2 or 3 teams where we have a top team coming together all the time. Every event, we're going to have a slightly different lineup. And it is more important to me to have it so all of my people know and trust each other, both in and out of the list for this. And one of the big things that has helped me with that is working with the communication. We just recently switched over to Discord because with Facebook Messenger, you have like 6 conversations going on at the same time, and this guy's asking about armor, this guy's asking about when the next practice is, this guy's posting memes, this guy's just doing whatever. A lot of things just get lost there, and I think having the Discord is a good way to have all of these conversations, but still have a coherent way to follow them. And that's a good way to improve the communication and community aspect of the individual team.
Dude, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm throwing hearts at you. I'm throwing big smiley faces at you. You're just getting inundated by emojis right now because great winning medals is great, right? Winning medal, everybody wants to win medals, right? But as a
Yes.
coach and as a trainer, while I don't want to be Mr. Miyagi, right? I don't want to like be super involved in the lives of every single person that I have in my program because I only have so much time and energy, right? But I do want to help improve them. And if I can improve their lives and give them a sense of community and give them a sense of inclusion and fellowship, whether we win medals or not, I have done my job to help them to improve their lives and give them that community. And that's the most important thing because there's only a very set few people who are ever going to make it to that elite athlete, elite world champion level. And if I never coach that guy, that's fine if I have a positive impact on the lives of my students and my team.
That's one of the things that really goes into my coaching philosophy of I am because you are. Medals, everyone wants a medal, cool, but I'm never going to be the best man at a medals wedding.
What? Wait, What if you could though?
I might have to rethink things.
What if we like get 2 medals? Have them propose.
What I'm getting at is in like 10 years, you could have some medals on the shelf, or you could have a team of people that at the drop of a hat you'd be there for. And one of those is just more important to me.
Medals aren't going to cause you to not be lonely, right? But lack of people around you will cause you to be lonely. And so you guys know a little bit about my trauma from childhood. I was lonely my whole life. I felt like I didn't have anyone around me until I met my wife. And this community, you two are my friends, have helped me feel lonely. I got tons of medals. I got so many medals. I got a box full of medals. They never made me feel good except for that single moment where I got it, right? But the friendships and the relationships have improved my life in a way that winning a bunch of medals and being a champion of X tournament never did.
Right.
Now, Ringo, you as someone who has a community and medals, how do you feel?
Oh man. So I don't give a fuck about medals per se, but like winning, I don't know, man. I don't winning to me is a lot. And that's the thing that I'm coming like to terms with. I don't know. So I am basically 2 years out from my last fight. I've been injured and haven't really got to train the way I used to. And the sport has grown a lot. And I was always in a weird position where I wasn't good because I had the best takedowns or the best power. I was good because I had some weird knacks that other people didn't have. I could read the field better than a lot of people. My balance was just kind of weirdly good. And like people fell over trying to take me down. I don't know that any of that holds up. And so I'm having this weird face of is this sport valid to me if I can't win? And, and I don't and I honestly don't have an answer. So like I'm not gonna say you're wrong for saying that like medals don't mean shit, but victory means shit to me. And I'm not gonna say that you're wrong for thinking that the community and the team you make is more important, because I'm not sure that I disagree with that. But I'm also not sure that I'm not sure that I put one above the other at all. And like I definitely can't say I put the team over victory, like the communal aspect of the team over victory. Maybe I should. Maybe that's a flaw in my character, but like I don't know that I can say that.
I also believe that the team who works as a team is more likely to win.
You're 100% right. And like so this is one of the things Josh was talking about being lonely as a kid, and I think a lot of us have some aspect of that, right? Like some people have very very lonely childhoods. It came into the sport. Some of us were just mildly outsiders, but I think most of us had a little bit, or are outsiders now. Are we getting a lot of vets who come back, and there's that that very common idea of um, not fitting in after you've been at war, uh, and regular society just isn't the same. And there's this weird brotherhood. I don't. Can we say brotherhood and like include other genders? Does that work? Do we need a new term for that? You guys are the people to ask, but someone who knows about gender studies, let me know if that word is outdated. Um, um, anyway, so yeah, there's this weird brotherhood that like, if you step on the list, you get, but it's closer with your team, right? I'm closer to you guys than the people that in Cali who I only fight once a year, twice a year. But I would still call a lot of those like very close just from fighting with them. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
also closer with the executioners than I am with you guys probably because I fight with them all the
All the
fucking
time.
time, right? So it's
So
this, it's
Nick
the
asked a question.
what?
Nick asked a really good question. How do you treat the ambitions of your students who want those medals? Do you impart those kind of virtues to your students? If so, do you find they try less than they did before? So I have, I think, a really good answer to that. Is it kind of plays off of what Kraken said. If we build a strong team and a strong community, the medals will come. One has to come before the other. I don't believe that a team now that doesn't have some sort of sense of community is going to succeed at a high level, even in just the United States. And we've seen this with the warlords, and we've seen this with Cerberus, where they do have a community, and the executioners, and they do have a community, and it's for them it's a positive community, and they work well together, and those are the teams that are going to continue winning all the medals. And a team of mercs who are super awesome fighters individually, but maybe don't work so well together aren't going to beat those teams. It's just not going to happen. So in order to win those medals, I believe that we need to have a very tight knit team of people who can work well together, and yes, even like each other.
On top of that, what I want to say is just because I'm promoting this team aspect above winning per se, um, I still am going to do everything in my power to make sure you are the best fighter you can be, even if your team is not there. Because, yeah, we murk for other people sometimes. Like, you're not always going to have your team there. You should be performing this level. This is what you should expect. And when you get that bonus from having your team there, it should be up to you.
Yeah,
I don't think you can perform at the same level without the people you are comfortable fighting with.
absolutely. And one of my great fears is to train somebody, and then they go off to Merc and don't do well, or they do something to embarrass the team. They act the fool or something. I actually have had nightmares about that.
Jesus Christ,
And
man.
I take this stuff seriously, man.
I
It's
know
just,
you're very high strung. I worry about
I
you,
can't
buddy.
help it. It's how
I worry.
part of my charm.
It's
I'm
part of my.
part of my charm. I'm very intense and silly and stupid sometimes.
No, I'm totally cool with someone going to an event and embarrassing themselves because they'll just go, oh man, I really fucked that up. And then realize that it doesn't change anything and they can still get out and fight again.
Yeah, that's probably a much better, a much less toxic way of looking at it than I have. I'm terrified that it's going to happen. And I love all my guys, and I know none of them, and female fighters. I love all my students and teammates, and good recovery, right? And and I know they're not going to do that, but that stupid what's Jay call it, a head squirrel or something? Uh,
Brain weasels.
Brain weasels. There we
You
go.
need brain owls to hunt the brain weasels.
Well, I got the two kittens. They can do it. Um, yeah.
Um,
Anyway,
so Invicta Ludus is asking, which is Nick, right? That's Nick. Sorry, I'm bad at names. What is the biggest thing you try to impart to new fighters?
Don't buy armor right away. Don't buy armor right away, and don't buy it from Ice Falcon. They'll charge you 3 times as much as it's worth.
What I try to impart on new fighters the day they come in is that you can come here, you can have fun, whether you ever intend on fighting or not. You can come out to practice and just have fun doing all this stuff. It's a good way to get in shape. You can also come out to these practices and work your way up to being one of the best fighters in the country or world. That is, you get out of it what you put into it, is what I try to impart it to people.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
This was a better answer, but mine was funny.
I mean, yours is also a very important answer.
Don't buy armor right away. Man, the guy's buying armor, it doesn't fit him, and I'm like, dude, just wasted money. Now we got to sell it on eBay.
What is the ratio of intense, more physical training like soft kit sparring as opposed to more drills and structural practice? What is the ratio of intense? I don't understand your question because I'm dumb, Shug.
So he wants to know how much sparring is done in comparison to how much drilling.
Oh man, that's an ever shifting thing that depends on who are the instructors at the time, what philosophies we're working on at the time, where our fighters are at the time. So one of the big problems that we've run into at the hall, and we've yet to figure out a good solution to it, is that this sport is so fucking complicated, right? So the sport has every grappling aspect besides ground fighting, but like every stand-up game plus some additional weird stand-up stuff because armor. Um, it has every strike besides thrust, but every unarmed strike basically is legal. And then now a bunch of weapon strikes, and each weapon is its own thing. It has field tactics, right? So now you have to learn how to move as if you were playing soccer or ice hockey or field hockey or basketball, right? There's all these different tactics that change depending on what level of fight you're at. Not just like level of skill, but like how many people are on the field. And then also change on how big the size, on how big the list is, and a bunch of other bullshit. And just moving in armor is its own thing, right? And like boxing is a sport and a skill that people train forever to get really fucking good at. Judo is a sport that people train forever to get, like, people go to 5 days a week to get really good at. Fencers spend their whole lives learning 3 weapons, maybe. They probably just pick the one they like. um, we have to do all of that. And so we'll be picking one thing and we'll be getting everyone up to speed on this, and then we'll realize we haven't gone back to this basic that we used to cover all the time, and now there's this big hole. So now we have to go cover that more, or the meta changes, and all of a sudden, you know, chapter matches are way less important. For a while, like, they were one of the main things we were doing, but recently the hall's been focused more on tourney fighting, and tourney fighting is a completely different meta. So now we have to worry less about our axes and more about our grappling. Anyway, my point is, there is no specific ratio that we have. It changes depending on where we're at, and then also on as we grow and learn as instructors. I'm not an instructor anymore. As the instructors grow and learn and figure stuff out, they change what they want to do, and how much we're doing of drilling and what type of drilling, and whether we're doing competitive drilling or whether we're just sparring, and the type of sparring. For a while we did no intense sparring. Now we're doing like half intense sparring. So in short, I don't have an answer for you. I'm sorry.
I have something completely different, as I'm coming from a once a week thing instead of a classes thing. And we don't have a set gym and things like that. The amount of sparring is directly related to the amount of people who have the equipment to be able to spar.
It's a good one.
So I have my gym has bought equipment, so we have enough equipment to outfit 8 people for soft kick sparring, and we spar every Saturday for at least 30 minutes, usually around 45 minutes. We sometimes spar during the week, but usually the week is meant for drilling.
All right. So now you have two actual answers and my bullshit tangent that gave you nothing useful. um,
We speak Sugarman better than you do.
I suck at giving hard answers because I like to be correct, and there
And
usually
as we
isn't.
went over, no one is correct at this point.
Yeah, so I like to hedge my bets as much as
So
possible.
you're saying you come from the Dr. Peterson school of answering questions.
I don't know who Dr. Peterson
Yeah.
is.
Jordan Peterson never answers a question directly.
I mean, he sounds like a politician, but sure.
Okay.
So we're going on an hour with Kraken, an hour and a half total. So I'd like to start wrapping up. One of the things with COVID coming down, I want to know what your thoughts on how your practices are going to change, and if that's going to change what you're doing with the blog.
So, because of COVID, we have not been doing grappling. Just because when you're close enough to make out with someone, you're probably close enough to spit directly into their mouth, and that's bad for passing COVID.
It's actually really good at passing COVID.
Okay, good at it, but bad for the overall thing, is what I meant. So we're probably going to start incorporating more grappling, which honestly I expect to see a setback in my blog about it because grappling is by far my weakest thing. So again, you'll get a chance to see a growth through that.
I'll send you some videos.
Yeah, no, I 100% planned on leaning on Josh as much as I could for this.
I'll even come up on
Um,
maybe 2 weeks.
So also you do weekly practices with matches coming back. I mean, obviously some people have been doing events, but a lot of us haven't. And with it, oh, assuming trends continue and stuff drops down, we're gonna theoretically see a bunch more matches. Are you going to stop doing practice? Like, if you have a match, are you going to not do a practice that week, or how are you going to sort of deal with that?
That's going to depend on the team structure when that comes up. If we have 10 people coming to practice and 8 of them are going to an event this weekend, yeah, we're not going to have practice. If we have 10 people coming to practice and 6 of them are going to an event and we got a couple of mercs, yeah, we can probably have those other 4 run one of the practices that has already been run. Or I can take, I can go back and say, oh, these 3 drills do these. It really depends on who is available to do a practice at that point, because I can't predict that.
Right. But you're not going to, like, actively be like, all right, we're all getting together on Tuesday because we have a fight on Saturday?
No, I don't think anyone's schedule works out well enough to do a weekday practice. We discussed doing one over the past couple months, and like 2 people said this day, 2 people said this day, and it was like, all right, that just doesn't work.
How do you support singles fighters as a team practice?
By instilling the basics and fundamentals of fighting. A lot of the stuff that we practice is very useful for both singles and melee stuff. We do, as Josh was talking about earlier, striking while moving. That's a thing we work on because in duels you should always be striking pretty much until you're at the very, very high level and you actually have to think about what your opponent's doing against you because they're also at a very, very high level. But up until then, if you take a step, if you're moving into or out of range, you should be making a strike also. If you are moving at a diagonal to change it to more of a dynamic rotational fight instead of a linear fight, You should take that strike while you're moving. Things like that. That's all very important for dueling. And in melees, just being able to strike and move at the same time is extremely important. So you can train that same concept that'll work for both options of fighting.
Nice. I like that. Chris, you want to reserve your first question for another stream. I don't remember what that question was.
Because
So.
I went back and it's how do we attract non-fighter long-term support?
How do we attract non-fighters to long-term support?
Right. So how do we attract people
Fuck.
to long-term support?
Yeah, I don't.
Pay them.
I mean, he wants it for another stream, but like if you guys have quick answers, I have 0 answers for that.
My answer is pay them. That is the most surefire way of attracting people who want to come out and be a squire or be support or whatever you want to call it. Is pay them something, buy them dinner. That's technically paying them. You're paying them in trade. Friends and family, buy them dinner. Hang out with them, say nice things to them.
No.
One way I've been able to attract long-term support, and we do have some people who are primarily support, is just that. You're hanging out. You're part of the community. You're part of the team. Even if you're not fighting, that doesn't mean you're not part of it.
I'm going to say I had no idea until Josh started talking, but I'm going to agree with what he said.
Right. I'm going to continue to have no idea, but I'm going to reference Brandon's ABCs. Always be chopping. That's great advice for singles. And if you're an axe man.
Yeah.
Don't be chopping me. It's not me. I'm delicate. I'm fragile.
So I think that as we're starting to wind down now, I want to point out just a couple of things real quick. Rule number 1 for running practices is just fucking do it. You need to have your practices. They're not going to get any better if you don't have them. You're not going to get new people in if you don't have practices. All of these things. Step 1, just fucking have a practice. Even if it sucks, it's better than no practice. Step 2, figure out what you need for your venue to be able to run a practice. Sometimes that's going to be, we need a Pell. Sometimes that's going to be, we need cones so we can set up an agility ladder. Whatever you need, figure it out so you can figure out what you need to buy. You can't buy the things you need. You don't know what they are. After that, start paying attention you should be doing this from the beginning, but whatever. Pay attention to your fighters. Pay attention to your participants. See what they are and what they are not getting out of your practices and adapt on them. And the final thing with it is be ready to adapt every practice at any given time because you're going to make mistakes and just play with it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Practice to the individual need of your student.
Have you written those down on your blog?
I think I've referenced them a couple times, but never written it out as like a step-by-step thing.
I think maybe that's a good idea. I'm just gonna tell you all the things you should do on your blog now.
That's definitely something that I've had in private conversations with people who've asked me, "Oh, how do I do this?" I was like, "These are the things. First wing, just fucking do
it." Your boy Nick wants to ask, how do you make sure you're not giving too much positive reinforcement? Do you have a quick answer for that? Because I have a few more I want to get to.
No, there's no quick answer for that.
Cool.
Just learn. You talk to your people and learn.
Evaluate each person individually.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a specifics, and there's 1,000 specifics that we did not cover, and we probably could go on forever. Yeah. One thing that, like, speaking of specifics, kind of goes into where I want to ask. You referenced getting some stuff from Beth in your interview with Paul, in this book in particular.
Yeah.
So
this is again, "Fear is the Mind Killer" by Katja Sadowski. Probably butchered that name. I apologize if you are watching this.
She's not.
Maybe there's certain people.
She is not.
But anyway,
she's like legit sword famous. I'm like not legit sword famous.
anyway, go on with your question.
Um, well, I would. One of the ideas is like maybe get you and Beth together and have sort of a YouTube talk since you've got some ideas. But um, I know that you have gone to a bunch of people. You've approached me. You've clearly approached Beth. Um, and I remember you came up to a New York seminar I gave. Just like you were like, yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna drive out from Jersey because like nothing else is going on. So like you've actively sought out all of this stuff before you started writing down the your practices. And how important do you think that is? And how do you get if so someone is out there? How do they go about contacting people to get this information? Like how did you go about talking to me, talking to Beth, shit like that?
So with the should you research this stuff before doing it, I'm going to go back to rule number one: just fucking do it. You can improve after you've started doing it. Um, you, something is better than nothing, is my opinion on that.
If you build it, they will come.
The second thing, how do I go about asking people these things? Well, Ringo, you obviously I'm friends with. That was easy.
Right,
Beth,
but we weren't
I
always friends. Were we friends when you first started talking to me about fighting stuff? I don't think so.
I thought we
Dude,
were.
you've
We
been
might
friends
have
for like
been.
Well,
5 years.
maybe I thought you were my friend and you didn't,
I
but
have
that's a
no.
different conversation.
Also, it's been a long time, and I get hit in the head a
Yeah,
lot.
it's been 5 or so years now.
Oh, has it really?
Yeah,
Dude,
You've been in the sport 5 years?
my
dude,
first
you
fight
and Brooke
was
have been friends for 4 or 5 years.
I keep thinking of you
2016 at
as
some point.
new. What the fuck?
Yeah. Um.
That
So
2 weeks,
yeah,
dude, the two
talking to
weeks
Ringo was easy for me because he was my friend. When I approached Beth about it, it was a little bit harder for me because I didn't really know Beth, but she'd been on your live stream and I referenced what she talked about on that. I just said, "Hey, you mentioned this book. Can you give me the name of it so I can find it?" And from there, that's kind of how that started. Really, it's going to be awkward talking to someone you don't know in this sport, but almost all of us love talking about this sport. So we're just going to do it whether we know you or not.
fair.
Accurate. Accurate. Um,
But seriously, we've been friends for like 5 years.
yeah, that's wild. That makes
Yeah,
no sense.
2016. That's when I came up for 2 weeks and I thought it was 2016. That was 5 years.
Oh, I forgot you did that. That's forever ago.
Yeah. I didn't think I
Uh,
was gonna. What? Why do you think I did that?
I don't know. Why did you do that?
Yeah,
Everyone should do that. Everyone, come take 2 weeks of the Knights Hall after COVID is over. Uh, uh, cool. You already went over your last points. I feel like I've covered most of my basic stuff. Yeah, I'm excited to see where you're going with this. I'm excited to see how you feel like your practices improve. I'd love to, you know, I know it's a personal project, so if you're not gonna do like things off brand, like too much energy, I know that can happen. But things that I would love to see is um, asking other people for their practices and be like, hey, this is what I like or what I don't like. Or if you've been to my seminars. I don't know if you remember any of them. This is what I liked. This is what I didn't like. This is what worked for our guys. This is what didn't work. Stuff like that I think would be super useful. And also, I know I work better with film than with. So that's another thing I'd love to see from you. But this is a great project. I think it's working on a different level than a lot of the stuff that we have done, which is the technique of the specific, like, here's how you throw a shot. Not here's how you teach someone not only how to throw a shot, but how to like keep like here's what you do. Like that's not a thing that we're teaching. And well now we are. So so um
Yeah.
To anyone who is listening, if you want to submit a practice, I have always said I would love to have a guest thing on there. Or two, if you just want to redo the art on something. I'm not good at drawing, so my diagrams might not be great. I will give everyone as much credit as they want on this. But yeah, throw it out there. See what happens.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's get more people involved. I think this is really one of the places that we need to go more of in the sport. So I'm very happy that you are doing it. Chris, Steel Tiger Media is running a Kickstarter. Please go and support him. He is trying to get some cameras, get a better Wi-Fi setup so that we can have better filming. Particularly, it's particularly going to be on the East Coast to start, but as it goes, it will definitely be something that can get rolled out to other areas. And as footage improves in local areas, it makes it easier for you guys to recruit, which makes it easier to get better things. So it definitely will have returns for you. I definitely think everyone should support, even if you can just throw like $5-10. That would be great. Also, hit him up if you think, you know, you want to get him there. Talk to him, see if you can find a way to make that happen. So please go back that because I think it's really good. I feel like that's it. That's it. Anyone got anything else?
No.
Subscribe to my new YouTube, Josh Kearney.
Yeah, do that. Do that.
There's
Oh
two
yeah.
videos. One of them is
Subscribe,
super.
follow. I don't know how this works. Check out my YouTube probably. Yeah, do those things.
I don't have a YouTube.
He doesn't, but
But he
South
should.
Jersey Pine Barrens or some shit on WordPress.
SouthJerseyPineBarrens.wordpress.com.
You should definitely
Yeah,
have a YouTube for Handsome Dan.
you should have it. No, a TikTok. What are you crazy?
TikTok?
It's
We're old.
clearly
We
a
don't do TikTok.
Does TikTok pay?
It doesn't
Does
matter.
YouTube
Handsome
Dan
Dan,
will make lots
Handsome
of money.
Dan should be on TikTok. All right, we're getting out of here. It's too late. It's too late. We're on the outro screen. They can't hear. Oh, they can hear us. They can hear us. I didn't turn down the mic. All right, you can say your thank yous now if anyone's still watching. Yeah, thanks for coming on and doing this, guys. We should do it. We should do it again. Goodbye.